Good afternoon. Today, I'm going to share with you a personal trick that I use to track my own personal development and growth. A thought experiment which I use from time to time to assess whether I think I'm going down the right path in becoming the person that I have always dreamed of becoming. To do this, I'm going to share with you a story. And this isn't so much a story about myself. This is a story about a friend of mine. When I was growing up, I was really into one thing and one thing only, a passion of mine: skateboarding. I loved to skateboard. That was my thing. And yes, I went to school and did all that, but really my mind was on skateboarding. And my best friend, my partner in crime, was a kid named Brian. And me and Brian used to skateboard all the time, almost every day together. Now, Brian, he was the best skateboarder out of our friend circle. He could do the hardest tricks. He could do it down the largest gaps, the largest staircases. He had the best balance. He had the best style. He was just really good. And he was the de facto leader of our skate pack. Now, when Brian and I weren't skateboarding, whether it be a rainy day or whether it be nighttime, what were we doing? We were watching videos of skateboarding, videos of professional skateboarders. And that was our outlet to find what else was out there, what else is going on, what professionals are doing, what type of tricks down what, with what type of style. We watched a ton of skateboarding videos, whether it was Jamie Thomas grinding down some handrails or Corey Duffel jumping down some stair sets, or Wade DeSarmo and his notoriously clean skateboarding style. We were sponges. We were kind of soaking it all in. And what would happen, right, when we would watch all these skateboarding videos is subconsciously we would take these elements which we really valued in skateboarding and incorporate it into our own skate style. Now, from watching so many skate videos with Brian, I could tell you, over time, I began to understand what style of skateboarding he valued and he favored. He liked really technical tricks that were done with precision, where the skater made it look easy. He liked skateboarding tricks where you had to do a lot of manuals, you had to balance well. He liked skateboarders who skated switch just as much as they skated the regular footing. And again, over time, he builds that into his own skateboarding repertoire. Now, fast forward through the years. I go down the academic route. And to me, skateboarding starts to become more of a passive hobby that I do when I have the time. But as for Brian, he kept on skateboarding each and every single day, refining his craft and refining his craft and refining his craft. Today, Brian Peacock is a professional skateboarder. Brands pay him large sums of money to skateboard for a living. I mean, it's terrific. It's a terrific living. Brands give him clothing for free. He gets flown all over the world to skateboard in cities all across the world. brands put his name on their product to sell more product. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. He has become a world-famous name in skateboarding, and it's because of his signature style, the signature way in which he skates. Now, what makes this story so impressive to me, which makes me proudest as a friend, is not the fact that Brian turned professional. What I think I am most inspired by and in awe of is the fact that I know that Brian transformed into the skater that he always looked up to as a kid. If I were to go back in time, if we were to go back in time, little Brian Peacock, I'm sure that present-day Brian Peacock would have been little Brian Peacock's favorite skateboarder. I'm absolutely sure of it. And to me, that is very impressive. He has evolved and he has developed into the best version of himself, which he aspired to be. So when I came to this realization, and I'm looking at what happened to Brian, and I put that flashlight on myself, would younger Mac be happy with the way? Would he be proud of, and would he admire present-day Mac? So if the younger me were sitting at a diner and having a conversation over breakfast with the present-day Mac, would younger Mac leave that conversation feeling inspired, in admiration of the person sitting across the table from him, thinking, wow, that is someone I want to be like when I grow up. That is someone I want to emulate. Because if yes, if the answer to that is yes, then I know that I'm on the right path, that I'm doing the right things to become the person that I want to become. And if the answer is no, and keep in mind, to do this exercise effectively, right, you have to be honest with yourself. This is a very introspective exercise, and it's meaningless if you're not honest with yourself. So if I go through this thought experiment and my answer is no, little Mac would not be proud of present-day Mac based upon the values and goals that I had at that time. I know that I need to make some evolutions. I need to adapt. I need to make some changes. You know, it's not too late. And there are multiple iterations of this. So think about the younger you, okay? Seriously, think about the younger you. Would the younger you be happy with the friend group that you have right now? Would the younger you be proud of how much hard work and effort you're putting into your studies or into your work? Would the younger you admire the way that you have overcome some of your life's hardest adversities? And if the answer is yes, you're on the right path. And if the answer is no, you have some changes you need to make. And I encourage you all to try this thought experiment, because it provides a very helpful perspective. It's all about perspective, right? Because when we're living day to day, it's hard to self-diagnose when we're so close to ourselves. So you need a little bit of distance. You need a little bit of perspective to gain that insight on your trajectory. I have found it to be a very nice, holistic approach in assessing my own personal development and charting my growth as a professional. I found it useful, and hopefully sharing it today, it's something you can find helpful too. Thank you.